Good afternoon, everybody. I put up on the YouTube last year's class in the Chumash, which explains the different vessels and furniture, if you want to call it, in the Holy Temple, with pictures and everything. So it's worth your while to look at. Here we go. This week we'll learn, here we go, half an hour. This week's Torah portion is called Truma, and it talks about the building of the tabernacle in the desert. And it asks a very logical question that anybody that's even vaguely interested in this whole thing should ask. I mean, on one hand, you can say, listen, it's a religion, so let them do what they want to. What do I care? You know, that's their rituals. Let them do whatever rituals they want to. Judaism has, these guys have rituals that they want to build on a mountain, and this guys, they want to eat fish, whatever they want to do. Let everybody do what they want. But Judaism actually claim that we are connecting to and doing the will of the creator of the whole universe, and that he's creating us right now. So you can't sort of separate yourself from that. You know, you have to at least pay attention to it. And this is not just a ritual thing that everybody just does what they want to. You know, there's like 20,000 religions in the world, maybe probably more. And, you know, let them all do what they want to. But Judaism is saying that we're the only real religion. And we're the only ones that even claim, I mean, everybody says that, but we're the only religion that even claims that God, the creator of the universe, actually spoke to an entire nation, 3 million people, and they all heard it. And we also claim that this God is creating everything right now, and he cares about everything. He cares about what we do. That's why we say, Ein Kelokena, there's nothing like our God. Okay, so we got this God, and God is the creator. He creates the spiritual, creates the physical. That's pretty good. You know, that's pretty powerful, pretty awesome. You know, God creates the whole world. Here we come to this week's Torah portion and wrecks the whole thing. Because this great God that's above the heavens and he's unlimited and unfathomable, he wants us to build him a house. What does he need a house? I thought he's infinite, he's everywhere. So that's going to be the question we're going to ask over here. Why does God want a temple, a holy temple, whatever, a tent, a temporary temple, a permanent temple? What does he need a temple for? God is everywhere you want. Okay, but here we go. In Parshas Truma, they're tzelt. The Torah tells us, wegen dem Eberster's tzivui, about God's commandment. One minute. Here we go. All I was trying to do, there we go. Get my pointer over here. Oh. All right. In this week's Torah portion is telling us the Torah about the God's commandment, that we should take gold and silver, Dreitzen, 15, 13, or 15 things. It's the same things. It just depends. Some people say that one, the garments, where it says make the garments, some people say garments, that's 1, and some people say garments, that's 3. So anyway, it comes out either 13 or 15. Gashmis Zachen. 15 different types of things. And from these Zachen, from these things, Zolmen Machan Mikdash, we can make a holy place for God. Mikdash, like it says, make me a temple, and the Eberster is Maftir. And God said, if you do this and you make me a building according to my directions, I will dwell in it. I will dwell in this temple, which is in your midst. I will dwell in your midst. As Erved Royim, the Mikdash, that he'll live in this Mikdash, this holy place, which is built from all these physical things. Good, that's what God says. Nicht gucken dich auf dem, was Gott Lichkeit is nicht begrenzt. Notwithstanding the fact that godliness is not limited. Chas v'sholom, God forbid. I mean, if God can create the angels, if he can create us, we can't create anything. You ever try to create it? You can't create anything. It's impossible to create. You can take different colors and make a picture. You can take different sounds. You can take whatever. You can take two things and knock them together, and that vibrates the air and it makes a sound. But you're not creating anything. You're just using the laws of nature to change things, right? You vibrate the air, it comes out of sound. You vibrate the color, it comes out of color. Light, whatever comes out of color. There's no way you can take nothing and make, because we, first of all, we don't know what nothing is. So we say God creates everything from nothing. God, so to speak, does not really exist in any way we can understand it. God creates all existence. But on the other hand, God cares. He reacts to what we do. So God is totally unlimited. So if God is totally unlimited, even though God is unlimited, but God says, as vet ruin, he wants to rest in a place was vet sein der Mikdash, where is the holy temple. Was does gemust farnemen, and this has to take streng begrenzen, very strict limits. A shetach makom, it takes up a place in the world. Or nitnor, not only the holy temple, was a speter, which was later built in is Alamo Gaven, Oifen Zelbaplatz, in the same place in Yerushalayim, as from them on, not only when the temple was there, but even from then on, after the temple was built, is thus Oif Alamo Lazoy, it's all, the place is even remaining holy. Nor Oichen Mishkan, not only in the holy temple was it that way, but also in the tabernacle, which the tabernacle journeyed with them in the desert, which is Mitkenem, and which accompanied them, the Jews, Umutum, everywhere, Fuzezain and Gegangen, everywhere that they went. Is Mishane Makomo Ba'olam, it changed its place in the world. Is the Shah Shechina, and the resting of the Shechina Alamal always given, nor in Ein order, but it was only in one place. Right? Even though when they were in the desert, that place changed, but it didn't remain there. It was in that place. Vusi is abgestellt given the Mishkan. Okay, good. So what says the Rebbe? That this is a very big, difficult question, because this sort of wrecks up God's oneness and unity and infiniteness, infinity. The Chora is nit verstanding. It's not understanding. The Eibishter is doch, like we said before, the God is nit begrenzt. He's not limited in any way. In Mokum, like it says, at the Shemayim, at the Oretz and Himalay, like it says, the heavens and the earth, I fill up. Well, the Psalms are filled with things, King David saying things like this. I fill the heavens. Here it says Jeremiah, prophet Jeremiah. I fill the heavens and the earth. Air is full omatum. God is everywhere. Is for vos had der Eibishter. Why did God say that we should make a special place where his presence would be? Huh? But God is infinite. So now God is sort of making himself not so infinite. So if he can do that, if he can limit himself, then, maybe it's not necessary that he should be unlimited. Huh? God can he's just the biggest God of all the gods. That's all. Stronger than all the others. Huh? What's wrong with that? Says, no, there's only one God. All there is God. There's nothing else of God, but God wants to live in a certain place. How can he do that? It just doesn't make any sense. Emestaka, even though that as a Shemayim, as or it's the heavens and the earth, I fill. Can't it, but it could be in an oven in such a way from Helen. Maybe we can say like this: God fills the whole world, but in the rest of the world, it's concealed. As invelted in the world, that God hides himself so that we can't feel him. In order, in order to reveal, is we have to have avoda, service of God. Like, let's say, for instance, putting on glasses, right? So you put on glasses, then you can see the world. But the world is always here. It's already here. It's already very clear, but you can't see it if you don't have glasses. You put on the glasses, you can see God. So the Holy Temple, let's say, that's sort of like glasses. Huh? We can look through them and we can see godliness. So Rebbe said that's pretty good. That's a pretty nice answer, but it's a little bit more than that. Because first of all, we have to do work. We have to serve God. His doch das aber nit verbunden, but it shouldn't be connected with a particular place. Everywhere, wo noch a Yid dient der Eibishter, where a Jew serves God, is mamshek gedlichkeit. Good, let's say you have to clean your glasses. So everywhere where you clean your glasses, you can see godliness. Why does it have to be that godliness is everywhere? It's like, these glasses only work in Pittsburgh. Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, you clean your glasses, you can see wherever you are. Why is it that if God is everywhere, and we agree that he's everywhere, and you have to serve him in order to reveal him, the only way that you can really you can serve him and reveal him is in Jerusalem, in the Holy Temple. Why? What difference does it make? Where do you serve him? God's everywhere, and we're serving him. You pray, you do the commandments. You can't avoid the same thing you can do, you can do the same work in another place, right? Make the sacrifices and by means of this you can draw it down, but every place, that I will dwell among you. Nitblo is not only in one place. Why does Judaism has one place? For what's happened the avoda gedarf done in Mishkan? Why does this service have to be only in a building, in a tabernacle, or in a holy temple? Why a building? Where do we get this thing of a building for? And if you want to say it's in a building, so let the building be wherever you want to build 20 buildings, 50 buildings, huh? Why so limited? Come on. And not only that, doesn't make any sense. It seems to be against the whole definition, the Jewish definition of God. If you can live in a house. From the Ikra Dika Avoda, from the other service, Achas Avodas, maybe you can say all the idolatry in the world, that's like his next door neighbors, huh? Because so God lives in this house, and in this house, no, that's it. That's the church. That's that's not God. This it sort of confuses the whole message of what Judaism is. It's supposed to be that God is everywhere and that he's omnipotent and is omniscient, and here we're saying he lives in a house who wants to live in it. What does that mean? Says the Rebbe, one of the main services of God in the Mishkan and the Mikdash was the sacrifices. Avodah is a sacrifice. The sacrifices are divided into two general divisions. One of them is physical. It would actually take physical, real animals, right? Cows and sheep and goats and birds and flour, bread. Was men ad makriv given? You could take a physical animal on the altar, but that's number one. And then there is what's called spiritual sacrifices. What's spiritual sacrifice? What does that mean? How do you sacrifice a spirit? We'll see. What's Bisman is then nowadays, when we don't have any temple, is dust tefillah. Now, what is spiritual sacrifices? Prayer. Now, just to remind everybody, and we did this before when we learned Bati Lagani. Remember we learned that before? The word for sacrifice, korban, is the same word as coming close. Litkarev. So the whole purpose of the sacrifices was not just to, bring an animal to the holy temple. The purpose was that you should make the physical come close to the spiritual. And that's what happens when we pray. When we pray, we take our physical selves and we think about God and we talk to God and we get emotional about God. That, it says nowadays, prayer is in the place of the sacrifices. The Beta Chalaki and both types of sacrifices, whether the physical ones, where they took actual physical animals, or spiritual ones, where we're taking the thing of prayer, are of sacrifices, Zayin and Verbunden are connected with the place of the Holy Temple. Even nowadays, Korbanos Bagashim's physical sacrifices is Doch Pashut. That's obvious that you can't make sacrifices outside of the temple. Varum, but Mishahukam, Marum, because Mishahukam and Mishkan, even more, it used to be, there were some very short periods of time in Judaism when they could make what was called a bama. A bama was a private altar. Anyone could make an altar in their backyard, and they could make sacrifices. But there was very limited. You could only make like Thanksgiving offerings. You couldn't make sin offerings or something like that. But still, you could make offerings. Now, nowadays, you can't. After the Holy Temple was built, you can't make any type of offerings in your backyard. I mean, you're not even allowed to make it on the Temple Mountain unless you know exactly where the altar is. In any case, so there used to be that people could make all of sacrifices in their backyard, wherever they wanted to. But since the Mishkan was set up, Nasru Abamas, then the Abamas were forbidden. In Israel, that was especially when Shiloh was set up. As Mehat Oivgestellt, when the Jews came into Israel, so they set up the tabernacle for 440 years. Only then, after 440 years, was the first temple built by King Solomon, son of King David. But before the 440 years, so the first, like, what is it? What is it? 14 years, it was in a place called Gilgal, huh? Yeah, Gilgal. And after that, it moved to Shiloh, and it stayed in Shiloh for like 369 years. And then it went to a place called Nob, and then it went to a place called Gibon. In any case, the tabernacle moves around from places to places, and all the time that there was the tabernacle, especially the one in Shiloh, it was forbidden to have these bamos, these private altars that they had in their backyards. As Mehat Oivgestellt the Mishkan, as soon as the tabernacle was established, then it was forbidden to bring sacrifices on the bamos. And therefore, and even more, when it came to Jerusalem, had men in an andere ort, then you could never make sacrifices in any other place. Also, based on except in the place of the temple, nid get tart. Makriv, you're not allowed to make any sacrifices ever for all time. Unafilu, and even korbanos baruchnius, even spiritual sacrifices. Okay, that's physical sacrifice. Okay, so you can't make an animal. What about spiritual sacrifices, namely prayer? How is that attached to the Holy Temple? Very simple. Was megzain umatum, which can do everywhere. Except there's certain places you can't. You're not supposed to pray in a toilet or in it says in a really open place because you can't think properly. But nevertheless, for deswegen, nevertheless, der Beis Hamikdash, the Holy Temple, was called Al Angerufen Oiv Alamo. The Holy Temple was called for all eternity. Zeh Asher L'Shamayim. This is the gate to heaven. Door there is their ort Durach Vanan as Gan Durach Tefillah Solomon. Strange, this is a very strange thing in Judaism, but everyone who prays in Judaism, when you pray in Judaism, you have to face Jerusalem. 1 second. This has been going on for a long time. 1 second, excuse me. Okay. This has been going on for a long time. There's a big fly in my room. Okay. The Jews, since the temple was destroyed like 2,000 years ago, right? So the Jews have been praying, facing toward Jerusalem. Dort is there is the place where all the prayers go. Was therefore, which therefore darfman daven, and when you have to pray with your face to the land of Israel, and like it says, there's a sense it's palu elecha derech artzam. And in the land, if you happen to be in the land of Israel, you have to face toward Jerusalem, and if you're in Jerusalem, you have to face toward the Holy Temple. Right? That's what it is. Okay, that really makes no sense. We can understand why you have to make the sacrifices in the Holy Temple. First of all, we don't make sacrifices today because we don't have the Holy Temple. But why do we have to pray facing the Holy Temple? Prayer is everywhere. Lechiora, as is in ganzen nit verstand, this is not understandable. Zuvig vos, zulib vos. Why hat men gedar verbinden? Why do we have to connect our service of the heart, namely prayer, Was is a avoda ruchnis, this is a spiritual service with a physical place. When a zoy was mugbal muda dvigashmis, a place which is so limited physically. Pray wherever you want to, face up. You should think up. What do you have to face toward Jerusalem? There's even you have to ask people. I even have an application on my cellular phone that tells you where Jerusalem is. I feel even if you want to say that the sacrifices, physical sacrifices, the Baltazar avoda, since the service of this physical sacrifices, this is connected to the fact that a person has to make a physical sacrifice on a physical altar. So therefore it must be limited. Also, what it comes down from above. When they made the sacrifices, it says that the fire came down from heaven and ate the sacrifices on the altar. Is given for Buddha Midgashmis. It was physical. Man at Gezen, we could see with your physical eyes in the time of the temple that there's Teitzei Eish, that fire came down, erupted Kuman, there came down an Eish, a fire from heaven, and ate up the sacrifices. Oiv Gegessen, it ate up all the sacrifices. Is Vibald, as side the Avoda, when side the Hamshacha, because the service they did was with a physical animal, and the result was fire, physical fire actually came down. So therefore, we can understand why it's connected with a physical place. Is Faran, therefore, there's a certain place where all this is going to happen. Even though we can also ask a question about that, Hagam, as da faret zich nachbir, really has to have a little more of an explanation over here. For vos zol da hamshachas durch avodas a korbanos nike ken zayin oifa an andro makom gashmi amuda. I mean, you can ask the same question. Why does physical sacrifices have to be done in a physical place? And this particular physical place, I'm sorry. Good, it has to be done in a place, but make a sacrifice wherever. Why is it that after the temple, the tabernacle was established, they couldn't sacrifice in their backyard? What's the problem? Let people sacrifice in the backyard. Why does it have to be? And the Rebbe is going to answer this. Ubafrat, and especially as Mirzen, we can see as Eder is Zayin and Asr Gaven the Bamos, that before these Bamos, these private altars were forbidden, Hatmen Getan de Avoda, you could make sacrifices in many places and different places in the same time. What's the problem? We're serving God after all. We're serving God. You serve God is everywhere. Let everybody serve God however they want. And wherever they want and whenever they want. So you want to make a sacrifice, good. So you make a sacrifice. So if there's 15 people that want to make a sacrifice, let each one make it wherever he wants to. What's the problem? We're serving God. So okay, let's not think about that. Let's just think about, let's go back a little bit. We can understand why you might be able to explain the fact that the physical sacrifices had to be in a special limited place, because the physical sacrifices, the animals were physical animals, and physical fire came down from heaven. But why does prayer, why do the Jewish people live today, why do we pray toward the Holy Temple? I mean, is that really Judaism? We can pray toward a building that doesn't look too good. If God is really everywhere, then why do we have to pray? No, you don't pray in that direction. So you pray in that direction. Why? What's over there? God is over there. He's not over here, right? No, that's simply not true, and that's very misleading. The fact of the matter is that God is everywhere. So if God is everywhere, why not pray wherever you want to, right? Or face wherever you want to. But that's what it says. But tefillah is totally spiritual. Nitnor, not only is a person, not only is the person got nothing to do with the physical world except with himself. You're not taking a physical animal or anything. You don't have to make any physical preparations or anything for the pray. Nor darv makriv zayin zichalein. You are making a sacrifice, but it's you. It's your own spirit, your own emotions to God. Why connect it with a particular place? It's like almost like saying, if you want to be a nice guy, nice person, and be kind, it's only in, Detroit. Can't do it. What do you mean? I live in Chicago. Well, can't do any good deeds over. Can't be a nice person, Chicago. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can be a nice person anywhere. The same thing as praying. Why can't you pray anywhere? Why can't you pray anywhere? Or, I mean, you can pray anywhere, but why can't you face anywhere you want? Why do you have to face toward Jerusalem? What's the point? The Eberster, Talangen, sein Kochos, Mechushim, to the, I'm sorry, was it? We're going to go back a little. We skipped the last. Oh, sorry. You're giving yourself, your own self, you're giving to God. You're not giving a physical animal. If so, why can it be when you pray, you're giving yourself up? Why do you have to face Jerusalem? Why? You're making your you're bringing your emotions and intellect to God. You're not bringing a physical animal, you're bringing the spiritual part of yourself. Zum dem Eberster. As durch Zion given by means of devoting yourself in your prayer and requesting to God. Oisedem, in addition, is by them mentioned the person by himself, their ikr from tefillin. The main thing of prayer is by a person. The main thing of your prayer is the intention of your heart, your love of God, your awe, the spirituality. Was is in is muzain does davenen kadibur. It's true that when you pray, it's supposed to come out in speech, but that speech is only to arouse your intention. The main thing of prayer is your intention. You're spiritual. So why do you have to face toward Jerusalem? By means of prayer. The poiled man, as Zalmil Maila, Nimshach, Imshachos and Gashmirs, you can say, well, listen, when I pray, what do I want? I want that physical things should happen in the world. So it is tied up with the physical world. I want that somebody should get healed, should be healthier. Someone shouldn't be poor. I want there to be physical changes in the world. As zetzech abronit, as le'ene basar, as the refuah, when the bracha kom via totza'ah, mizayin tefillah ubukasha. But still, you don't see physically in the Holy Temple, they would bring an animal and fire would come from heaven. Now I pray that Uncle Joe should get healed, and he does get healed, but you don't see clearly that it comes from my prayers. It could be that maybe there was just a time for him to get prayer. There wasn't a big hand comes out with a hypodermic needle or something, gives him an injection, all of a sudden he gets better. Nitazoy vs is given by them Eish Min Shemayim, not like it was the fire that came from heaven and devoured the sacrifices on the altar and before everybody's eyes. Their fire, like fire, it came and ate up the sacrifice. So Vibalt as tefillah, because the prayer is and ganzen totally a spiritual thing, when nitfar einzigen, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not verstandig, it's not understood for was is the verbund, then begrenzen. Why do they have to be all these physical limitations of prayer? Why do we have to pray when we pray? We're supposed to face Jerusalem. Why? What's the reason? What's the reason behind it? Why face Jerusalem? Prayer is a spiritual thing, right? And not only that, even more, we're praying to God. God is not found in Jerusalem. He's found everywhere, right? God creates the whole world. There's no place with. So what's this whole business with Jerusalem? It's holy, and our prayers can only go, right? You can understand other religions or something. You can say, well, Jerusalem was the place, a historic significance, and that was the foundation place of our religion and this. So we should pray there to remember. But that's not what we're saying. We're saying that all prayers go through Jerusalem, and that God's presence is in Jerusalem. And that's what we should pray to. Isn't it the opposite of Judaism? Well, we're going to find out tomorrow, God willing. I'll tell you in a short what the answer is. The answer is that God is not limited to being unlimited. That the essence of God, in fact, is expressed in God's ability to unite the infinite with the finite together. By uniting the infinite and the finite, namely the Holy Temple, is that reveals not just an aspect of God, but God's essence. And this we're going to talk about, God willing, tomorrow. We're now in Gimel. Have a good day with Moshiach now. Thank you very much for coming. Shalom uvracha.